I'm happy for your viewers that you're not going to show the atrocities. And of course, we edited out the most gruesome parts. I think you've heard testimonies from first responders, Zaka, who were there on the ground to find and collect the corpses. They have described also in very graphic detail what they have found. So you have first hand testimony from Israelis of the atrocities, and they are even more graphic than what I will tell you about, including mutilations, beheadings of babies, in case there are still people asking and wondering if babies were beheaded. But I'll speak about what we have shown. What we have taken is basically GoPro footage from Hamas terrorists as they went in house to house. There's footage that shows, for instance, a family, a father and his children trying to escape into the safe room in their house, being chased by terrorists. A Hamas terrorist throws a grenade. The father gallantly throws himself on the grenade in order to save his boys, is killed. There's also footage of women and children being taken hostage. There is footage of summary executions of Israeli civilians that are tied with their hands behind their back, summarily executed in proper ISIS style and cruelty. And there are things that you just hope you'd never see and never be forced to see, and definitely not people that have nothing to do with fighting. These people lived peaceful lives in their community. Many of the people that were either butchered or even taken hostage are people who harbor extremely positive views towards Palestinians, who actively seek reconciliation, who actively seek a two-state solution, who actively want for there to be peace and justice and many other very noble things. These are the people that have been taken hostage by Hamas. These are the people that have been executed and burnt in their homes. And you know, just to summarize, there's footage of Hamas terrorists after having completed their rampage of execution. They sit down for a meal. They're happy, they're content, they're proud of their actions, they're fist bumping and praising Allah for their great victory over these civilians. They seem very proud, very happy with what they've done, and they sit down to have a light snack in the house of an Israeli family after having executed them and burnt other houses around. They had the weapons, the intelligence, the training, the preparation, and the orders and guidance of Hamas chain of command to go into the communities, to kill, to execute, to behead. And we have handwritten notes, letters from Hamas seniors to their operators, to their terrorists on the ground: behead, mutilate, do everything, even cut out their hearts and their livers. And we have it in written, and we will show it. So nothing here was chance, nothing here was random. This was premeditated, and nobody around the world should think that Hamas has any sliver of humanity in it. I haven't seen anything like it in ISIS videos and even atrocities perpetrated elsewhere. This is next level brutality. Anybody who has had anything in support of Hamas in Gaza and elsewhere will pay the price, either death by our weapons or unconditional surrender to our soldiers. People are still confusing, many are, the Palestinian cause with Hamas. This isn't the Palestinian cause. This is barbaric murder and the most vile violence against civilians that we have ever seen. So whether or not people are supportive of the Palestinian cause and whatnot, this isn't it. If you're out marching on the streets against Jews and you're chanting slogans and you're speaking about freedom or whatever, this is what you represent. You are marching for these beasts. You are marching for the atrocities that they perpetrated. You may be misinformed, or you may be a very evil and dark person. I hope that it is just the first option, and that is why we show this to the world so that people understand what it is that we're dealing with. That is why we are now going to dismantle Hamas. We are going to rid the Gaza Strip of Hamas. Nothing that you will say will have any moral grounds against what we are doing. We are fighting a just cause. We are defending ourselves, our communities, our civilians, our women, elderly, and children and babies. They're the ones that we're fighting for this never to happen again. And anybody who wants to have an opinion about what's going on and feels some strange urge to criticize Israel for the way that we are defending ourselves, have a look. Don't blink. Understand the cruelty that we face, and understand that we have an obligation to take all of the steps that we can in order to prevent this. Let's say that we are in the initial stages of our war against Hamas. We've been attacking it from the ground so far with good achievements when it comes to hunting down Hamas commanders, senior officials, and important military officials. We've made a deliberate and focused effort on those same units, the same attack stormtroopers. These were elite soldiers with elite training, elite operatives that went in with training equipment in order to execute, kill, and rape and murder. So we've been focusing on them. Hamas calls them the Nukhba unit, which is Arabic for elite or selected. They are selected for targeting indeed, and we are striking them. Their whereabouts, their locations, their known affiliates, everything related to them. We're striking Hamas infrastructure, where they hide their bombs, where they fire their rockets from, where they fire their UAVs, where they try to launch other weapons towards Israel, where they embark on boats in order to reach Israeli shore. Everything is, all of the military targets that we have, they're being struck, and new targets arise as we're monitoring the situation and monitoring the movement of Hamas officials. I'll say that I am concerned, and we see the difficult humanitarian situation in Gaza. It is not lost upon us. We are not fighting the civilians, we're fighting Hamas. Hamas is accountable for the situation in Gaza. They govern, and it is their set of priorities that has dictated this situation. If they want to, they can release some of their million liters of fuel to run the generators to generate water. If they want to, they can release food that they have stockpiled, but they don't want to. They want it for themselves, and they don't care about the civilian population. Hezbollah seems adamant on escalating the situation and on dragging Lebanon into a war that it stands to lose everything from. And the question that needs to be answered to Lebanon is, are you really happy to jeopardize what's left of Lebanese prosperity and sovereignty for the sake of the ISIS of Gaza, Hamas? Is that really what you want to do? Because that is where Hamas is dragging you, at the behest of their Iranian masters. So far, we are deployed along our northern border in significant capabilities. We are responding to Hezbollah aggression. We are not yet taking the initiative. We are responding to more than 24 anti-tank missile attacks. Sadly, we have sustained casualties, 7 dead Israelis, civilian and military. Yeah, listen, what Hamas is doing is, very basic and transparent psychological warfare, trying to leverage one of the few cards that they have, and that is these hostages that they took from Israeli communities, men, women, children, elderly, babies, people with disabilities, and even Holocaust survivors. We understand that this is what they're doing. They will try to delay, obfuscate, and try to torment Israeli society and make decisions difficult for Israeli decision makers to make. That will not deter us. All of the hostages are the responsibility and accountability of Hamas. All of them shall be returned. either voluntarily by Hamas through other negotiations or by force, but all of them shall come home. I know that our focus and aim is very clear. We are ready for ground maneuvers. We are ready to take the battle to Hamas and to get close to their hideouts, to find them where they are, to flush them out, to take away their military infrastructure, to kill or apprehend their leaders and dismantle their military and administrative capabilities. It won't be easy, it won't be fast. We are ready to do it in terms of equipment, manning, preparations, and most importantly, a very clear understanding of all of our officers and soldiers that this needs to be done and that we have no other choice. We are in close coordination with the United States of America on the military level. We are sharing intelligence, sharing assessments. We understand that there is a regional aspect and there's a local aspect, and we are coordinated, but there will be a ground invasion and we will take the battle to Hamas, and this war will end with a dismantled Hamas and all of our hostages home.